Wow, I'm actually live. Let's see if that's true. Am I actually live this time? Yes, I'm finally live. Okay. God almighty. Okay. Now I get to do the thing that I need to do before. Lift that fricker up. There we go. Okay. Woo. Okay. And apparently I need light on me, which I thought I had on me, but apparently it's not enough. Aha! There we go. God, I look like shit in a handbasket. Oh well. That's life today. That's not how I'd look before. Hi guys! Oh my god. Welcome. Okay, I'm finally here. I'm finally live. My god. Oh, yes. As Paramarv had stated earlier on the other one that we were trying to do, please hit the like, subscribe, and share button because it does make a difference. And now that I'm actually live, this internet thing is driving me up a freaking wall. I think I need to switch. I think that might be part of the problem. Anyhow, welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. I am Nikki. Kind of disheveled after all of that lovely stuff. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, so tonight is let me get back to what we were supposed to be talking about. I don't know if I'm going to do predictions tonight like I thought I was, but I do want to talk about prep due to previous predictions and survivability. I also want to talk about remain or relinquish the status quo. That can mean a lot of different things, folks. I want to talk about dimensions, portals, frequencies, and listening. And what I mean by listening, I mean specifically listening to yourself. Because I had a few situations, don't discount yourself. So, and next week's broadcast will be on Friday, not on Thursday. So I want that to be known before I forget anything. Again, please hit the like, the subscribe, and share button if you find this at all useful, any of the information in here at all useful. Eventually, over the next few hours, hey, Joe. Hi, Artun. It was good talking to you earlier. So please, remember that the description box will over the course of the next 6 to 12 hours, the description box will eventually have the timestamps because I go back through and I listen. Excuse me, I re-listen to myself, which is not so fun sometimes, but it's important to do to take care of it. For those of you that are new, welcome to Restore Belief with Nikki. I am Nikki Jacobs. A psychic medium. Sometimes I'm not, sometimes I am. It just depends on how the energy flows. It just depends on what spirit wants to tell me, what my spirit guides want to tell me, or if somebody has a spirit that really pesters the ever-loving shit out of me and got to speak it. So we have had that happen in chat on a number of occasions over the last 3 years that I've been doing this. So okay, here we go. And this, depending upon how I'm doing tonight, may be short. It may be long. You guys know that I can get very long-winded sometimes. So, this still isn't right. Oh, and Artun. Okay, Artun. I don't remember how to pronounce your name now. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Anyway. Take notice of this. That is from my childhood from 1974. It is from an ET experience. I call that painting, and that painting name is Copyright. Okay, folks, that's not for you. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. But the painting is from 1974. It was when I was, oh my God. Anyway, the point is that I was a real little kid. 73, 72, 73, 74, somewhere around there. It is the Butterfly Nebula. When I was out in space on an ET ship, and I knew it because the ETs told it to me as the quote unquote the Infinity Galaxy. That's how I remembered it. There is a story to that. Go look into, for those that are interested in that story, go look into the past live broadcasts or the past broadcasts, and you will come across information about it in different broadcasts. Some I go into great length of detail on it. Others are just, it's barely talked about. So just be sure to go through the, and some I outright state in the, not the description, the title. So just go in and make sure that it's one that you want. It's a broadcast that you want to actually hear that full story. Because a lot of, not every single abductee experience that I have not talked about every single one of them. I've talked about many, many, many of them. And then I've talked about a lot of them over and over again because they seem to be what some of the public wants or some of my friends want to hear more about. So, okay, that all said. Anyway, it's about me putting my hand on an ET ship window that wasn't a window. Go look it up. Okay, what else? I got to get to the details because this is all right. So it's been a live wire tonight. I had a household situation tonight, and oh my God. So it brought out the laughter and everything in me. It was really good. And then to find out I was having internet issues. So that's always fun. Okay, so some of the past predictions I talked about over the course of the last 3 years, one of them is talking about an eventual tsunami over the West Coast. And this is for years out. I don't know exactly when this is. It was vast years out when I first saw it. So, oh God, that was what, 6 years ago? So when you're going to hear people in the background and somebody's in pain periodically, so you may hear some of that. So if you wonder, that's what that's about. So anyway, so predictions about that prep, have a to-go bag, folks. I am not about fear-mongering. I think that's bullshit. I am all about, and most folks that know me and have known me for a while, whether it's been 5 years, whether it's been 15, whether it's been 30, most of you know that I really despise fear-mongering, and I am about informing yourself. One of the things that I learned and I'm going to talk about this again, I haven't talked about it in a while. One of the things that I learned when I was one of the co-captains of my neighborhood block, no, it wasn't a block watch, it was an emergency, it was through the Emergency Management Disaster Preparedness in Seattle, part of that organization. And basically, hang on a second. I'm trying to get back to this so I can actually see what's going on in this chat. Hey, Amy, I'm glad you made it back. I hope Para can make it back as well. And a couple of the others, like Little Cam. I couldn't think of the name. Little Cam. Anyway, so please just know there's a reason I'm doing this. I've always talked about preparing for emergencies, and it's mostly because of what has happened throughout my entire lifetime, from almost birth, in fact. So please know that that's where this comes from. It's not fear-mongering shit. It's just be aware of things. Always have a to-go bag with you. If you work in a high-rise, doesn't matter where you're at in the world, make sure that you've got certain emergency supplies, short emergency, like a Ziploc bag. Small, it can be small, it can be large. If you're home, have one there. Hi, Little Cam. I'm glad to see you. I was hoping you made it back. So, like I said, I think I hope Para makes it back too. So anyway, have a to-go bag, even if it's a small Ziploc bag with basic emergency supplies, like oh God, what are they called? A whatchamacallit knife. They're red. I cannot think of what they're called right now. Anyway, they've got a knife and a nail file and clippers and tweezers on them, and I cannot think of what they're called. And Swiss Army knife. Thank you, Amy. And I've that's one of the things that I've always carried is a small Swiss Army knife, not a big one. It depends on, like, my home bag. I've got a large one in there. I've got the reversible pliers that open up. I don't remember what those are called either. You open them up. They're pliers. They can cut as well, cut wire and all this other stuff. So, Leatherman. Thank you, Amy. Mwah, appreciate it, my dear. And so. And that's where I'm still regaining my brain after this past weekend and after the targeting and all that bullshit, the microwave weaponry that I've had aimed at me and all that shit. So anyway, and I'm the ETs. I'm very thankful for the ETs who worked with me over not last weekend, the previous weekend, and I'm still kind of readjusting to how my brain used to be, but is now again. And those of you who know what I'm talking about. Those that you are new, you might want to go back and re-listen. So, to some of the old ones, because I talk about being targeted and all that, and it's crap. I call it crap because it's their crap putting upon us. Anyway, so if Joe, if you're still around, can you post on my Facebook page, please? The link. Otherwise, it's just kind of convoluted. I know. I apologize, but if you can do that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. And hopefully it should automatically do it. Hey, pup. So, and I've got a pup here who now wants to play. Who was licking the floor earlier. Like, okay, now we've got toys. Anyway, so just make sure that you've got those kind of things with you. And the other thing is you might want to have I cannot think of what those are called. Oh, I put it down here. Hang on a second, guys. Protein bar. I've got part of an empty one here. Have a protein bar. This is kind that I've never had before. It's actually not bad, but it's not one of my favorites. But have a protein bar in your emergency bag. Hope the floor is clean. Yes, actually it is. Hey, Robert. It's good to see you, hon. Actually, yeah, it got swept and vacuumed and all of that. So I gotta move this. Anyway, so make sure that you're set up wherever you are for your car, your backpack going to work, or your briefcase, or your purse, or whatever that you do. Just make sure that you've got things that in an emergency can do you very well. And extra Ziploc bags. That's the other thing that I've learned the hard way. So, and like I said, I learned that through emergency management of Seattle back in the 1990s. When my kid, who is now in his 30s, was very little, and we were doing a lot of emergency management stuff with the neighborhood and trying to get people to respond and react. And that's a whole nother subject. Found out that there were only yes, thank you. It was very specific for some of the things that they talked about. The other thing is that if you're at home and you're in the United States, contact the emergency management department, because they can send you an actual packet where if you are at home, you can have an okay, it's like 8.5 by 11 or something like that. Excuse me. On one side, it shows that you're okay. On another side, it shows that you're not. And all you have to do is put it in your window. So like for real natural disaster, for a major catastrophe type of thing. Arson talks about first aid kit, water, backpack, and food is good, and a warm jacket. Yeah. Emergency blanket too. Thank you for that list. An emergency blanket, and I mean the kind that is Mylar. That's in those. They're like $3.29 the last I saw them. And they can help to reflect heat, keep heat in. They're good for a lot of different things. Also, you can actually do and I don't have one right now. But imagine, okay, if you've got prescription bottles, imagine this is a prescription. I'm a seamstress, or retired, but anyway, imagine this is a prescription bottle. You can put on the outside of it, you can put what the hell is it called? Duct tape. I'm sorry. I'm having brain problems tonight. But on the outside of it, you can wrap it in duct tape and wrap it around a number of times so that you can actually have duct tape that is usable, that you can peel right off. And if you've got your Swiss Army knife, you can slice off a piece or even rip off a piece and use that duct tape for different things. That's another big deal. Another one is a small container of it's like a tarp, but it's plastic. These are all very compact that will fit inside of a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. Inside the empty prescription bottle, you fill it with different things. You can have what I used to do is I used to take an old piece of toilet paper roll or paper towel holder, and I'm going to get into the paranormal stuff. I'm going to get into the ET stuff. I want to get this stuff out. But you can take that piece of cardboard, that really thin piece of cardboard from those rolls, cut it down to size to where it will fit inside, and then wrap thread around it and wrap needle, a couple of different sizes of sewing needles, because let me tell you, that does come in handy sometimes. The other thing is safety pins, paper clips, toothpicks, matches, etc. Yeah, and you can actually make up your own matches for waterproof and stuff by dipping them in wax, dipping the tips in wax so that the tip will stay dry. So there are things like that that can be done. I've known people to use Altoid cans. What does he have in his mouth?
He has.
Yeah, I got it. We don't need to go there.
Knee.
Yeah, got it.
Sure.
A beef knee. So anyway, those are some of the. I mean, they're real specific, but yet at the same time, they're condensed down enough that will fit into. In a true emergency, they will come in handy. Believe me, I've used them before. Whether it's been camping and we forgot something, or whether it's been. Okay, guys, you can be heard talking. So just so you know that it's all being recorded. So anyway, those are things that can all fit into a Ziploc bag, that can work into a backpack, even into a small patch or a small pouch, or into a backpack. Yeah, Amy, I used to do that too. Is cotton balls that are dipped in candle wax and then allowed to dry, and then you squish them down. And those are for fire starters and things like that. Also some alcohol pads and a few Band-Aids and bandages are wise. Yeah, I used to do that all in old, cleaned out, labeled, removed prescription bottles. So anyway, getting distracted. So anyway, the point is that those are some things that may be useful to you for short-term type of things, things that can create kindling, things that, I mean, all different kinds of stuff. So like I said, all of that can be in different size bags and can travel with you, or can be in a vehicle wherever you go. But it's simple stuff. It's just things that, all right. So anyway, all that said, so with the prediction a number of years ago about the tidal wave across the West Coast, mostly hits California and Southern Oregon. Then there's another type of one that hits Washington. And that was one that but these are supposedly years off, because the technology that I saw was very much newer. Let's just put it that way. We're not talking 100 years newer. We're talking like probably another 20 to 40 years. Some of them, the one for the Western coast, that one is deliberately done. That one is deliberately created. I'm not going to go into. It's a big boom underneath the water, and it's quite a distance where it takes place. I do have the latitude and longitude. I could not think of what those are called. I have the latitude and longitude of where that's at. And the government may want to know that one. So it would take me a while to find it, because it's all in screenshots. And as you guys know, I document as much as I possibly can for a wide variety of reasons. But when it comes to that kind of psychic information, I do deep dives and I do hardcore looking into. So I know where that one, why it happens, who causes it, and where it's done on the ocean floor with latitude and longitude. So And I've already verbally stated, because I'm watched and observed and blah 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 blah. They know, because I've told them who to watch out for and who to be very careful of, and keep always head on a swivel with a specific individual that is global, that has unlimited funds. So just I pray to God, because I do believe in God. Some people don't. That's fine. That's your thing, whatever you want to do. But I honestly pray that that one is stopped. It's life altering, because I saw a five-story high on downtown type buildings, skyscrapers, and the waves went 5 stories high. This was not from no movie, okay? So anyway, that said, the other predictions, such as the mountains across the Pacific Northwest and into the big one in another section of the country, that are all, I have stated for years, they're all connected. I have literally talked to a geologist with the government who was working for the government last year or the year before last. I don't remember which at the second. And no, it was the year before last, so 2023. Met and talked, and they absolutely do not believe that that is possible. It's interesting that now they are just finding out that, yeah, lava tubes are connected. Some mountains are connected. And really, gee, didn't I say that? Anyway, they still say that it's not possible that all of that will take place. But I know what I've seen. I've seen it since the 1990s. And it's big, and one triggers, the other one triggers, another one triggers, blah blah blah. Anyway, and the funny thing is that Jim, oh my god, I can't think of his last name, Jim Goodall, actually publicly talks about the fact that he's had a psychic vision where he literally was still alive, and he had made his way to Seattle, and it happened when he was in Seattle. And he talked about his, hey, Para, you did make it back. Awesome. Okay, hang on a second. When I need to read Amy's and Artun's messages out loud. So just a second. I'll get to those in a moment. So basically, just always have your to-go bag with you. These are things that I've learned. I always have something with me when I've been out and about. I've always had. You're backwards. You're upside down. Okay, turn around. Well, it's supposed to be my little. There we go. Girlfriend. Friends from a girlfriend. A dear friend of mine. Yeah. If so, anyway, so and one of the ways for survival is, I mean, in any situation, I mean, if you end up witnessing a car accident and you become a rescuer or something, I mean, it's always important to have some kind of emergency bag with you anyway. And I've been witness to stuff like that. I've been witness to, and things happen. And especially nowadays, there's so many things that are uncertain, that kind of stuff. So just please be prepared. Now, I've talked for 29 minutes about this. We're moving on. Just a moment before I do that. Okay, Amy, you can even make plastic bags with freeze-dried coffee, sugar, and creamer premix. Just add hot water. Yes, there's a lot of things that can be done. A lot of things like that. Artin, the most important thing is to stay with a buddy to keep each other calm. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Separation in something like that can mean life or death. I mean, it really can. There are things that I've heard from friends that are, they're not just hikers, they are avid, they hike in the mountains in the snow. I can't think of what that's called either. Isn't that fun? I'm not remembering those things right now, but that's okay. It's just because I'm put on the spot at the second. And they've talked about, I mean, we're talking way up in the frickin' Tules of the mountains where you're ice climbing, and you're camping in that environment. And I have been told couple of really scary stories, and a couple of stories that are like, oh my god, I'm really glad you made it out of that. So, and see, that's pain level. We've got a injury going on at home, so, or not going on, but anyway, just so you know, that's what that's about. Okay, so Paris says, are you familiar with Gordon Michael Scallion's quote unquote Earth Changes map? Would this even be related to that? Amy says, I am familiar with his map. I don't think things will change that much. I don't know that map. I'm not sure if it's that map I know. Okay, what the hell was his name again? I got the middle name, Gordon. I missed Gordon. Gordon Michael Scallion. Michael Scallion map. So let's see, what do we have here? Okay, it's not calling up. And there we go. All right, so it's taking its sweet time. So apparently my internet is running slow. Hopefully this goes well. Anyway, there are maps that I have seen that have major changes in, there it is, major changes in the United States through North America is how I should say. No, it's not that bad. Gordon Michael Scallion's future map of the United States, 1998 to 2001. No. Okay, what I have seen in relation to that boy, that's nothing in comparison to what I've seen in relationship to the maps. A good portion of water ends up to the middle of California, covers part of Baja and Mexico. Well, no, Baja. And goes up, covers a good portion of the western part of Oregon, but not all of it. And a significant portion of Washington. I was actually, and most of you know this one that have watched for a long time. I've watched for the 3 years. I was standing on the peninsula, Washington's peninsula, at a very well-known lighthouse area, very well-known fort area, state park area. And I ended up having an incredible psychic vision. And it was underwater, and people were screaming, and animals. I stayed stationary. And when I looked up, all I saw was blue water, people and items, and part of houses floating in the water. It was true devastation. But the problem with that is the fact that we don't have the technology yet. We don't even remotely have the technology for when that is about to happen. So that's why I say 20 to 40 years out from now. Depending upon how the global governments do technology, announce the technology that they've already had for the last 60, 70, 80 years, actually, really for the last 40, 50 years. Hey, Drew, you made it. Oh, hey, Bub, are you safe and sound? You don't need to say where you're at. I just want to know if you're safe and sound because I know you're on a long drive. Mountaineering. Yes, thank you. That's the one I was thinking of. Anyway, so my point is that these are timelines. This is a timeline that I have seen, but that timeline can shift and change based on what happens. You have to remember this. For any psychic who gives information for predictions, that timeline can shift and change, not into another timeline, but into the same timeline, but events take place to where those may not happen as the person has stated, but parts of it happen. So be aware of those kind of predictions, okay? Because they are so far out. Now, I have not seen, oh God, must be about a year and a quarter, I have not seen that psychic vision in the last year and a quarter. I've seen bits and pieces, but not like the entire enlarged psychic vision download that I received for it. So just be aware of that, folks. You need, when you're listening to somebody that's doing those kind of predictions, yeah, you're certain at that given moment in time that this is going to take place. But you have to remember, there are things that can shift that. There are things that can happen that can make that situation either not happen at all, or because somebody interacted, or it can be to where part of it still happens. So just, you need to be aware of that, because a lot of people take information from a psychic as it's going to happen. They say it's going to happen. Oh, sorry, Amy ears. I apologize. It's going to happen. They did it again. I was trying not to make sound. It's going to happen. It's going to do this. It's going to. Yeah, that's because they're in the moment. They remember it. This is how it's going to be according to them. But remember, things happen over time, and people change, and situations can change to where events can shift. So remember that, folks. When you're listening to somebody, even somebody like me, I'm going to give it to you straight. This is how I know it as right now. This is what's taking place with it. Okay, now I need to, speaking of shifting, I got to move my leg. My leg is starting to bug me. Okay, so, no blanket. I got blanket and then everything else. All right, so, what else? Wanted to get back into, and thank you, Para, for the stuff. So it is about survivability, and how, but you got to do what you can do to protect yourself, protect your loved ones. And if you've got young kids, that's a whole nother subject. That means, photographs that are laminated, documents that are shrunk down to a certain size and then laminated so that they're travelable. Make it to where they can be you can travel with them and carry them in a specific way. So photocopies and things like that. I mean, look at what happened with California and all of the fires, wildfires, and things like that. An emergency to go bag would have those kind of things in it. And if you've got a very large home, you might want to have a few to go bags with the same information, just in specific areas, so that if it is that dire, all you have to do is grab and go. And you're not having to run to a long section of the house. So just be aware of that. I'm still picking up branches from the wind. Oh, okay. Was that your area stuff in that wild wind? A wild wind, that's why. Amy, the problem with Scallion's map is there's not enough water in the world to submerge that much land. Yeah, not unless it was sunken. I mean, it would really have to. That's a whole nother subject. Picking up branches from the wind at Andrew. Okay. Amy can also carry back up the documents on a PDF thumb drive, hundreds of pictures and documents. That's, yes, correct. I would do that, but also at the same time, I would carry it in a container that is waterproof and a container that is also anti-static. But at the same time, knowing that, sorry, I got to pop. They're bothering me. At the same time, if it's like a situation to where you're not going to get anywhere near a computer for years, that may not be doable. However, it is if it's something to where you can get out of the area and get yourself safely out of the area. Anyway, so enough of all of that. Thank you, Amy, for that. That's something I'd forgotten about. That's something I used to talk about all the time. So, okay, remain or relinquish the status quo. The status quo regarding government, regarding a lot of different situations. Right now, I'm not going to get into the political side of things, but relinquishing or maintaining, staying with the status quo, you got to be real careful with that. It's on one hand, I'm not talking, and I'm not sure how to say this. Just be careful with status quo. Things are supposed to change, but also remember, change comes with dishevel. A change up comes with mixed emotions. It comes with difficulties. But a lot of times positivity comes, hey, woo writers. Woo writers, I did not need to know that, but that definitely got me to laugh. I appreciate the laugh. And I am going to keep that message in there because that's just how you two are and how your situation is. Oh my God, you guys. Anyway, tell her I said hello. God. Anyway, so just be aware of changes and the that's exactly, that's all that we needed to know, Para. I'm like, wow. Status quo, some things need to change in order to make things better. But we've also got to remember some things don't need to change. But information, I can't get into that either. Just be very careful in who you follow for any information. What's their main goal? Are they out for themselves to make money, to make major bank and profit? I don't make a dime. I've talked about this last week. I've talked about this before. I don't make a dime. I do not charge for my mediumship, my stuff. And I'll tell you flat out, if I'm not getting anything for you, then I'm not the just a glitch. If I'm not receiving anything for you, then I'm not the person for you. There are reasons that some psychics will receive information, and there are others that don't for other reasons, and yet they will receive vast information on somebody else. And I've had that happen time and again, where it's like, no, I'm not getting it. I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm hearing what you're putting down, but I'm not receiving anything as much as I want to. It's your guides are silent, except for telling me this, and I can tell you that you've got this spirit around you and that spirit around you, but they're not talking to me. There's a reason they're not talking to me. So you need to find somebody else. And I'll tell you flat out. I will tell you flat out. I'm not in it for the money. It would be nice to have some, not an income per se, but to offset expenses. That's a big deal for me. So eventually I might create I don't know, buy me a cup of coffee or something like that. But I'm in this to talk about the information. I've never been in this to make money. I mean, people have told me since I've been a child, 11, 12 years old, you need to write a book. I need to what? And it really wasn't until I was 16, 17 years old that a lot more people started telling me, Nikki, you need to write a book. I'm like, why? I got it, but I didn't, kind of like one of those teenage things. Then by the time I hit 25, 28, 32, it's completely different ballgame. Ouch. And so in that sense, and I still haven't written the book. I mean, I've got large sections of it going, but it's been a work in process. How do you summarize? How do you put into words 57 years worth of information that really goes back to before you were even born? And mass timeline, not timelines, mass 103, 102, 103 lifetimes that you remember. I mean, really? Do you know how big of a book that's going to be? And it's probably going to have to be a series. And I already know that my future grandchildren write a book on me. Why? I don't know. I can only imagine, but I already know that I have copies going of my information to them that they will inherit, and I have copies of my information going to other people that those other people will inherit, because my information is going to be parted out because of my life, who I've been, what I've experienced, who I've talked to on the other side, and all of that. So it's and they can write the book or a secondary book or whatever, but I'm not going to let government get their hands. I mean, they've already tried accessing, that's a whole nother subject, but anyway. So just know, I mean, if you are an abductee, if you are an experiencer of the woo, paranormal, write journal notes. I had this conversation today. Write journal with somebody who's very new. Write your journal notes. I talk about this all the time. they can be crucial in what is happening to you. And things that you may not have put together that you would have sidelined and second guessed yourself and all of this other stuff. And it's real important, folks, when you're in ufology or paranormal or whatever in your life. I mean, this can even happen for if you're being stalked by somebody. Write journal notes, because you go back through those journal notes later on, 1 week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, and you will see a correlation and a timeline of things. This is how I put together the fact that there was a timeline, there was a season to ET abductions. If you're in certain programs with the ETs, such as for me, I'm in the hybrid program. I'm in one of 3 hybridization programs, but that's beside the point. I've always said that. Oh my God, that is really loud, guys. Sorry, folks. But basically, when you're in any of the programs with the ETs, they can have a season. And that was a hell of an eye-opener and a hell of a shock to me. Yes, arson, disasters make people closer. Yes, they do. Okay, Woo Riders. How are things on the West Coast, Nikki? Interesting, to say the least. But that's all I'm going to say. Publicly, anyway. Para, all right. This is starting to sound like a congressional hearing on UFOs. Can I ask why you can't tell us so much of this info? Does it put you in danger? Yes. Great question, Paramarv. Excellent question. A lot of information that I've got, there are some very secure safety reasons for me. If you want to know something, hit me up privately. And I'll get to know me, and I'll have like with Paramarv, I know Paramarv. I've known him for a number of years now. And if he had a question about certain things that I have said publicly, he can hit me up privately, and how we communicate anyway. And he can ask me those questions, and I will give him those answers to the best of my ability. If it's safe to do that. If it's not, then I won't, and I'll tell him flat out why I can't. A lot of things, yeah, it's not about me signing NDAs. NDAs, folks that don't know, non-disclosure agreements. I have not, to my knowledge, signed a government, although I have to make a clarification on that one. Because of my lifetime, when you are SSP, you do sign a contract. They got your John Hancock, bud. You have signed a contract. I only found that out last year, and boy, was I livid. Not only are you signed a contract, you have you have a file. You have a government file, and it's deep and it's buried, and it's most likely military that is deep and buried, because it is military that deals with it. It isn't regular government. It's really well buried. And now I'm all about, I want my contract. I want a copy of my contract. I want, a copy. I want an official copy of my contract. I want to see my file folder that they've got on me, and I'm not talking about what the CIA has on me or the FBI. I don't give 2 shits. I mean, I do, but I don't. In grand scheme of things, I mean, Anyway, my point is that if you're part of secret space program, any part of it, you will have signed a contract. Now, they started me at 8 years old. I doubt highly, I do, because I do not remember it. I don't remember signing a contract. But when I was told that it's there, that holy shit, yes, intuitively, whoops, just had another glitch. Intuitively, I must be having things going on with the internet. So I apologize, guys, if you're seeing this and watching this in replay and the voice sounds weird or the background sounds weird or the I can't think of what it's called. It recirculates. Anyway, my point is that I had no idea. I had always thought that yeah, Amy, they're doing things. Okay, so Amy says you can't legally enter into a contract at 8 years old as a minor. No, I know. However, they're not doing things legally. That's the problem. So I would assume once you're 16, once you're 18, hell, even once you're 15, they'd have you sign it. And so, I mean, what they were doing, they're abducting via the nefarious ETs. They were abducting children. And it's a form of child kidnapping that the government does. And I make no bones about that. I talk about it openly. If those want me on a show, I'm not the most knowledgeable, but I can give you my experience, what I remember, what I've gone through. And I can refer you to people who I know remember. They're natural remembers like I am, or they've gone through regression. They've gone through hypnosis regression. And of course, with any legalities, legal system doesn't even acknowledge hypnosis regression. So this is one of the reasons why I don't do hypnosis regression. Personally, I'm not against it. I think it's awesome for those that are wanting to do that. I've been told that I need to do hypnosis regression. I'm probably not going to, personally, for a wide variety of reasons. But the main one is because if I'm ever called as an eyewitness to certain things, I don't want that being called into question. Yeah, I want to know. I badly want to know on a number of factors of my life. But at the same time, I want to be called as a quality witness and not someone who is using those techniques, because they can be classified as null and void in a court of law. And they can come back and legally show how it convolutes information from the brain. And I'm like, I have choice words for that and a middle finger for that. But I understand where they're coming from. I get it. I don't like it. But I get it. It's after 8. Okay, so 8:13 p.m. my time. Okay, so hang on. Talking, got a drink. Lost 2 fingernails. Well, technically 3, but that's always fun. Bump a fingernail and 3/4 of it's gone. Amy, woo! Oh, that was tart. Amy says hypnosis will not stand in a court of law. True. Correct. I had a counselor in the 1990s tell me that. Actually, I had 2 counselors tell me that. And back when I was going through counseling for crime victim stuff. So that was fun. Not. Anyway, so let's see. Grandchildren. Para, well, the fact that you expect to have grandchildren is encouraging. Yeah, the souls came to me and told me who they were. And now that my mom's on the other side, I kind of lost it last. Hello, excuse you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah. I realized last night and had a kind of an emotional meltdown over it that now that my mom's on the other side, she'll get to meet them. She'll get to meet the souls before they incarnate. And I did a lot of crying over that. I thought it was I just thought it was awesome. Fantastic, and told her what they showed me, and psychic downloads and numerous different things, and all I remember hearing was like a sigh from her. And I didn't know if, because it's been so soon since she's passed, that I didn't know if she had already met them yet. And because I know she's been pretty close to home with us here, and she's also been, as I call it, puttering around. So anyhow, yes, Amy does know quite a lot of information. She's one of my awesome resource people, as is Robert and Para and a number of folks that I don't typically talk about, but unless they're in chat. But yeah, these folks, they're awesome. They are researchers. They look into things, or they're mediums and psychics, or they're energy workers, and they know their shit. And I really, really appreciate them very, very much. Hold them in high regards. And anybody touch them, I'm coming after them. I'm coming after who's touching them. So that's kind of a big deal to me. These people are treasured people to me. So it's kind of a big deal. And some folks may not have known that. So there you go. Anyway, Paris says, "Ha! I wish I was a medium. I'm more like a double extra large." Honey, I know what you're talking about. Oh God. Anyway, so just keep in mind. Oh my God. Leave it. Good grief. Anyway, so there's that bit of information. Moving on to what I also very much wanted to talk about tonight. Dimensions, portals, frequencies, and listening. Okay, so listening is listening to yourself. I think we all do dopey things, Amy. She says things at somebody in chat, and my head is filled with a lot of good stuff. That doesn't mean I don't do dopey things at times. I think we all do, my dear. We all have a playful side at some point. What are you? You're searching for something. That's interesting. Anyway, so damn, I gotta look at it again. This is mostly because I haven't had certain things. Okay, so listening to yourself. Do not discount yourself. Okay, if you have something that pops up within, this is something I have talked about on the last 2 broadcasts of the S4 bunker. The S4 paranormal bunker is how you need to look at it. The link is in the description box below. Literally, it's in there from last night. But if you go to that link, you can also go into that YouTube channel and look at last week's show as well as this week's show. And you will see that I talk about listening. There we go, popping things. It's driving me nuts again. You can listen to yourself, and I make a correlation in when you don't listen to yourself, what actually happens. It's a big deal. I talk about a car accident that took place because I didn't listen to myself. A car accident that I was in. And if I had listened, that accident would not have happened because we would have been sitting in the vehicle. And this was back in the 1990s or early 2000s. I don't remember which. But my point is that if I had listened, that accident would not have happened. We would have been sitting for a little bit longer, probably about a good minute and a half, 2 minutes, maybe even 3. And before going and doing what all we did. So my point is, please, if you have something that calls up to you, listen to your gut instinct. Don't push it by the wayside and go, whatever. Listen to it, especially when it calls out to you in a big way. This one was a big way, and I went, what? Because it didn't jive with me as to, it could have meant, the way I was receiving information back then, it could have meant a number of other factors. It didn't necessarily mean that it was directly for me. And that was huge. This was part of my dad, because my dad, part of you're acting like somebody else has been in here. So part of it was my dad was with me. My dad was on the other side at the time. And this was how I was receiving information. And I honestly think that my dad was going, hey, trying to nudge, but he wasn't talking to me at that time. I think he was going through, at that part in his life, in his soul life, in his spirit life, not spiritual, but spirit life. I think he had, right around that time, been transferred over. Leave it. No. He had been transferred over to learning about how to become a spirit guide. And hey, Christine, good to see you. I'm glad you made it. And so because he went from talking to me on a daily basis right after he died. He did that for about 3 years. Yeah, he did that for about 3 years, and then he went silent for a number of years. And it was, I'm actually, Christine, good to see you too. I hope you're feeling good. Yeah, I am today. It's been kind of a live wire day, but that's okay. But anyway, my point is that you need to listen to yourself. And regarding souls, that's the other thing I wanted to say, because I've had a conversation today where we talked quite a bit about souls and spirits and what they, well, not so much what they can and can't do, but what people learn. And one of the things that I learned is that my dad became my spirit guide. He became my main spirit guide. And in order for souls to do that, they go through education, like hardcore. It's like a form of college. Let's try that again. And I just had a thought. Yeah. Christine says, Nikki, you've come such a long way from the bad illness you had a few months ago. I'm so glad to see you much better. Yeah, I am doing much better. The hair needs to be cut. It's driving me nuts. It needs about that much cut off of it, but I haven't had time. And it hasn't been a priority, although it's becoming a priority because it's driving me nuts. But yeah, and other things are becoming priority, and I'm getting more things done and getting things taken care of. Yeah, I when it gets this long, I start putting it up. Anyway, dear, the point, I'd grow it out another couple of inches. No, no, thank you. When it starts getting this long, folks, I start French braiding. If my arms and my shoulders can handle it, I'll start French braiding it. And I'm like, I lived that life in SSP and in the 1990s, and oh my God, that's obnoxious. Can't help it. They're feeding him, feeding little pup. Anyway, so my point being is that when I was in SSP, my hair was down my back and it was always French braided. Even in my cloned body. Hello, if you're in SSP, you're very possible have one or more cloned bodies. Bet some folks didn't know that. It's all new. It was a hell of an eye-opener to me anyway. But anyway, thank you, Christine, and thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. The dopey things is where the true heart is. I'm goofy too. Right on. Love it. I love it. Anyway, so yeah, souls go to college. They go to college and they learn or they relearn information, and they spend anywhere from in our time, because there is no such thing as time, they consider they consider going to school, and it can take anywhere from our timeline of a year, how we think of time, or it can take many years, or it can take hundreds of years. I mean, it just depends on what they choose, and what they want to learn. And, it's fascinating to me how the other side works. Really is. Oh, and colors. Somebody had mentioned colors today. And I've been on two different spectrums, levels of the other side. And I can tell you that the colors there are more vivid than anything we've got here. The yellows they're, oh my God, vibrant, vivid. There's no true describing them. I've never, and I used to do art. I used to do extensive art when I was a kid through high school. I was talented, but not as talented as some of the other kids in my art classes in high school. I'll get to that in a moment. Para, he's talking about clone bodies. And so when I realize what color is like on an ET, I'll hunt for it online. I will search till I'm practically blue in the face going, oh my God, where the hell is that color? I can't find it in the all the names of these. And so when I finally came across the name of the color of eyes that many of the ETs that I know, they've got a color that is called cerulean blue. That's the color of their eyes. Color of their skin, it's between some of the grays are a form of the palest gray that when you step back from them and are anywhere from 5 feet to 100 feet, they look like they're white. Okay, but they're actually gray. They have the gray body, the gray head and the hands, and the eyes will be different if they're on Earth or if they're traveling on ship. They'll take the covering off of their eyes for those that need it. They'll take the covering off their eyes, and their eyes typically are either blue, black, or brown. And the ones that I deal with, they've always been blue. And it's the same, almost, well, is it the same? Think about that a minute. Yeah. No, I take it back. It's slightly darker than some of the other ETs that I've come across. And so some of the blue-skinned ETs I've come across are, and by saying blue-skinned, I mean they are translucent. So they have Caucasian skin. Okay, they'll have Caucasian skin, but underneath that skin is a translucent. It's like a translucent layer. So the color of Caucasian shifts into a translucent color. And underneath is either the palest pale of blue or a form of the palest seafoam green. And those are the ETs the more positive ones that I work with and deal with. And there are times where they've not been so kind, and there are times where they've been beautiful to me. So, and it is incredibly appreciated. And yes, you can revamp your soul contract with them, just an FYI. So if you don't like what you've got with them, you can change it up or make addendums legally, because they're very legalistic. Okay, so Amy, there is a blue-green there that actually seems alive or electric. It's actually on the way home. Yeah, and she's talking home is a specific her soul. She's talking her soul home, and we each have a soul home. It may not necessarily be Earth. It may be somewhere else out in one of the galaxies out there. Amy, and in that same spectrum, a type of gold, and when in contrast with that shade of blue-green, it's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I've seen things like that. Okay, sorry. I did some lymphatic drainage before I actually got on the phone. And of course now it's starting to hit. So of course I get runny noses. Oh, that's the other thing. Okay, somebody remind me lymphatic drainage. I'll talk about it because that is something that I did want to talk about tonight. So an hour, well, it says an hour 19 on here, but it's 8:33 my time. Okay. Para has a question. You've mentioned the cloned bodies before. Would you, as the original, have a cognitive or psychic connection to them? Or would they be truly an independent entity that happens to look just like you? Okay, cloned bodies that I've got 3 that I'm aware of. Okay, got a 32-year-old, 34-year-old, and a 36-year-old. I originally thought that it was all one lump sum, that it was one of the 3 races that I was being abducted by. Come to find out, it's the ETs who are working with the global governments. For me, because I am an American living on American soil, I am taken by the ETs who do nefarious things with the US government. And how I know that each clone is worth to be made, maintaining them is a different amount, but each clone is worth $380 million. Okay. Do you have any comprehension as to how many clones there are in the secret space program? It is freaking incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh my. I just had a trigger of how I know somebody else. I gotta write notes. I'm sorry, guys. Hang on. Holy F balls. Okay. 36 p.m. The person, I can't say that either. Okay. Trigger live show. I hate calling it a show. I absolutely hate calling it a show. Oh my God. Okay, sorry folks, I've got to write this down. Holy shit, I transported you. Fuck, what are those called? Sorry, first F-bomb. My God, we were on Mars. Holy crap. Okay. Well, see, that's sometimes how memories pop up. Start talking about things and boom. Okay, that's a wild ride. See, now I was asked, how do we continue? That's how we continue. Just simply talking. Once you open things up, it'll start popping. And sometimes if it doesn't, and you hear different information, if you've done the hypnosis regression stuff, do that for you. If that works for you, then do that. That's your only first F-bomb tonight. You're running behind schedule. I am. You're right, Para. I am. Para, 380 million. Sounds like I should be selling my. No, dear, you should not. Okay, so you asked a very, very important question regarding the clone bodies. The original. Okay, would you, as the original, have a cognitive or psychic connection to them? Okay, how they do it is they put a device over. This is how I personally know it, how they do it with me. I have seen it on one occasion with one other person. I've never been able to recognize the other person. It's like my Memory it's like my memory is protecting me from knowing that person, and I do not know why that is. So I see like from like here to here, like this much. Yeah, like that is all blanked out, but I see their body. I can see part of their coloring of their hair, um, but they've been on board ship. But a 3-layer device is put over the forehead because our pineal gland is a major source for us. And I did not ever believe that the higher consciousness had multiple levels. Never believed that. I now believe it because I've seen it, because I've experienced it. It has been a true mind bender. It has thrown me for a loop in a major way. I've got people that have been in ufology for 30, 40 years that are like, you're full of shit. I don't believe that. And I'm like, this is what I know. This is what I've seen. This is what I've experienced. And I just realized yet again, I've got an eye doctor. I need to do eye teaming. I have one eye slower than the other. That's not okay. It never used to be that way. Okay. Back injury. Oh, tailbone. There goes the tailbone. All right. So basically, it's a, and then I've had other people that are like, I'm so glad you talked about that device. And I'm like, why? And they're like, I'm too afraid to talk about it. They can't for themselves. And I'm like, I get that. I know that feeling very, very well. There are things at times where you just don't want to know because it's too shocking to your own system. My body, my soul, what I've got an agreement with myself, and I don't know how else to say it any other way than that, is that I will do this I will remember these in stages, in phases to where I can emotionally handle it. Because if I get a complete download dump, I've had that before. I get very upset. It's very draining. It actually hurts. So the thing that I have learned to do is to go in and say, hey, I do want to remember these. I want to remember as much as I possibly can that is safe for me to emotionally handle and remember. And that is a big deal. That's a really big deal because there's some of this that is, I just had a reaction because something tried to come up and I can't handle. There's certain things that I can't handle. Like the fact that when I was 8 years old, I had a cattle prod, an electrified cattle prod by a military adult officer, 8 years old, giving me electric shock in the back. And so to try to break me. And because that's typically what they do in SSP, they try to break you, they try to break your brain, and then they rebuild you back up. And for whatever reason, and I've been told, oh yeah, I think you've got alters, and I've always called bullshit. I don't believe I've got alters. I've never experienced anything like even remotely like that. I don't have what other people talk about. But yet I'm having flashbacks of memories, and I have memories, distinct memories of these MFers as adults, military officers who are doing this to a child and who are getting extremely angry because they can't break my brain. They cannot break me. And they're getting really viciously angry and trying to actually beating me and doing different things, and none of it worked. And I don't know why none of it worked. I have been told that that is because of the previous training that I had from the better ETs. But that's what I've been told. I don't have a memory of it. And what I've been told by people in SSP is that, that have deeper memories than I do, that you can't be an SSP without being broke. And I'm like, bullshit. Because I have a distinct memory of these two MFers standing behind me off to my right. One is off to my left. There's a third one off to my left, but these two are just having at it at each other. And they're one is so angry because he cannot get me to break. And the other one finally comes in and not comes in, but is standing there and says, then we'll put her to use in something else. And there's more than just that said. So there's a lot of this stuff. And that's why I end up becoming a pilot, and not doing what people call 20 and back and all this other stuff, which I make face at, and I'm not trying to disrespect or disregard people's experiences by any stretch of the imagination. I don't like the idea of 20 and back. It bothers the ever living out of me. The whole thing makes me extremely angry, and I put a real I squash that anger down. I don't make it to where it stays down. I bring it out and I deal with it in a safe way and in a safe environment to do when that is conducive to do so. And that's how I deal with that aspect of it, because otherwise, if you constantly sequester and kibosh and that's not the right word, squelch those emotions down, you're only doing yourself harm. And I learned that in counseling all those years ago for something else. So being a victim of childhood sexual abuse. So it really makes a big difference when you're in SSP and if you have not been broken and you end up getting called on to do other things. And my memories are really, some of it is just absolutely atrocious. Being witness to military officer, his hand tightly gripped, and I can name him. I know his first, middle, last name, what his rank was at the time, what his rank is now. He's retired. What he retired as. I know. I'm not saying those names because legally, if I did publicly state those three, because there's three names that I know, and I can even give you their what they are known as by their officers and their men. Oh my God. I was an officer. Oh my God. Oh, there's another trigger. I didn't know what my rank was. I'm not going to say what my rank is. I'm not ready to, because that's a very first trigger. Holy mother. Yeah. Para, you were exactly correct. That was my first F-bomb. Wow. Whoa. Okay, breathe. Oh, I can't get below. There we go. Wow. Okay. Wow. Oh, I'm not happy about that. Okay, that was a hell of a realization. Didn't expect. So that's how some of these memories come up naturally. Okay, so it's the original cognitive. Anyway, so the consciousness. So para, would you, as the original, have a cognitive or psychic connection to them? Yes, you do. It's not a psychic connection. It is what it. Well, some people would classify it as psychic. Whoa, somebody's got hairspray. I think I've got a government asshat in here watching live in my home. Have a seat, MFer, because I'm not going to deal with you when I'm on camera. As a matter of fact, just a second, I need to make a reach out to thank you. So well, that's going to get interesting. Thank you. Wow. Okay, didn't expect that. That's the first time I've had that I'm aware of. So the consciousness divide device, there's a 3-part. It's very thin. It's about yay thin, but it covers the forehead. What I was talking about before. It covers. Oops, I got which finger? Yeah, it covers the forehead from like right here up to the hairline. Okay, and it parts out in 3 ways, and one part is the highest level of higher consciousness. No, you are not going to be licking rug. Sit. 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 You are having a hard time listening. There you go. Thank you. Did it when you wanted to, not when. Oh, this is going to be fun. Anyway, so my point being, and sorry for the loud whistle. I do apologize. It's parted out. So the highest of the highest form of the consciousness is subdivided out. The next level, there's another section of it, and then the device stays over the physical body that's asleep, or that they have put asleep, in whatever location you're in, whether you're home or wherever you're at. Hell, for that matter, you could even be up walking around with it on and never even know that you're have this on, because you will not physically feel it. It's literally in a like another, it's almost like another realm or another dimension. Hey Sandra, it's good seeing you, dear. And what takes place is they phase shifted it out. Okay, that's the thing. You're not going to feel it. If it's phase shifted, you will not feel it whatsoever. Okay. And I mean, you could be going like this and washing your face and all, you're not going to feel it. Well, excuse you. Just be glad it wasn't the other end. Oh, gadzooks. Dog farts. Dog farts. Yeah, those aren't so fun. Do you want to lay down? There you go. So point being that it's divided out. That highest of high consciousness is not with you anymore. And wow, you're fussy tonight. What is up your butt? You fussy. Goodness sake. Anyway, so point is that you would never know. But yeah, you do have a connection. You will have a connection. And unless you really, in my personal experience, unless you're asleep, you may start dreaming of being on another planet. You may start dreaming of doing things that it's like, what the hell is that? How did I even do that? Where the hell is that? And once you become aware and you learn to control your dreams, all you have to do is watch. Be the observer watching you, and you will find out everything that they have your clone doing. Just an FYI. It's really convoluted that way, but it's very real, very true. And yeah, you can have it to where you can even be on board ship and you're looking up at an ET, but you're also psychically seeing. It's like a form of psychic seeing, you being on another planet and doing all these other things. And you're like, this is not a dream. I've got my eyes wide open. What the hell is that? And, oh God, here they go again. Sorry, guys. And more worse since I've been targeted, the dryness of the skin. No. That's not okay. You know that. So it makes things really tough. Really, really tough. There you go. It's possible, Para. He says, any question, any connection between the ET breeding program and the SSP program? Were you pulled into one because you were involved with the other? I do not know, but the potential of that is very real. But I can tell you one thing: the ETs in the hybridization program, in the one hybridization program that I'm in, they do not like the others. Excuse me. They do not like, and the interesting thing is that the ones that abduct, that do the physical abductions of me and many thousands of other people, are different than the ones that are on board ship. Now, here's the key with that. The ones that are doing the abductions are the same, for the hybridization program, are the same race, not the same individuals, but the same race. Okay, it's specific to race, not species. The specific race that is also doing abductions with the US government or with the global governments. That much I know. And the ones that are doing the hybridization program, that are doing the actual physical abductions, they do not like the others of their race that are working with the global governments or the US government. They don't like them at all. So it's just like with humans, there are good and bad. I'm almost 9:00. Okay, so an hour and 43. So I'm going to try and wrap this up so it hits 2 hours. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Because there's still a few things that I want to get to tonight. And if I don't get to it, then I'll put it over to the next one for next week is next Friday for me, not next Thursday. So just be aware of that. I do have that written in the description box. I'll figure out where to place that and all of that. So it'll still remain. But I cannot do next Thursday. So it'll be next Friday instead. So yeah, each we got 308. So para 380 million. Sounds like I should sell my body. Okay, I want to respond to that again because here's this. 380 million. The only reason I know that is because I was in SSP. We had saved lives. My team and I cannot call me the head of that. It's Good Friday. I forgot about that. Thank you, Para. I honestly, I appreciate that. I forgot about that. That Sunday is Easter. That's a whole nother subject. Anyway, so we had crap. I can't remember how many of us were standing there. I've got a drawing of it, but it's not in this notebook. Of standing in a landing bay, and there were a lot of ships in front of us, and we had a military officer standing in front of us, and we were standing. I think there were 9 of us. It was either 7 or 9. So more than 6. It was either 7 or 9 of us standing in a row. We were at attention, and I am not military. Okay. I am not retired military. I have never once been, I'm not military. Okay. I've had a lot of family around me who are military, a lot of friends who are military, a lot of friends' families who are military, if they themselves are not military. So, I mean, I grew up around a lot of it in a lot of different ways, but I'm not the old terminology military, but I'm not that. Although now that I think about it, anyway, my dad was Air Force for 2 years in his early life. And I never knew that. I didn't even know that until after he died. How many years was I don't even remember how many years I was alive when I found that out, but it was a hell of a shock. My stepdad, however, different frickin' story. My stepdad was in I was going to say something he was in Vietnam. He was one of what we now would call a SEAL. He was in Special Forces, and it's a whole nother subject. And I only had, and now you're going to start snoring. Yep. We're hitting REM over here, so we may be hearing snoring pretty soon, or twitches, or little wolves or barks and things. So just be aware, guys. Anyway, whoa. I just got told some information. Anyhow, it's about me. That somebody notices the eyes. That's interesting. So the point is that it doesn't necessarily mean that because you're in one, you can be pulled into another. That can happen. But it can also happen because you have the military in your family. Not necessarily, not always. But it can. It makes you easier to deal with in some regards. Ouch, 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 ouch. Sorry. Back injury. So, anyway, there's a lot of information I talked about tonight. Hey, Trace, I'm glad to see you here, dear. So that's how Paramarv, in order to finalize the rest of that information, have cognitive, would you, as the original, have a cognitive or psychic connection to them? Yeah, you do. You are connected. I've actually pulled my higher self out of, oh boy, that got me into serious trouble. I got it. They didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could do it. But I got into some very, very serious trouble with SSP when I pulled my higher consciousness out of my clone body. I never saw what happened to the clone body, but I can only imagine. Nothing in there, nothing to control it. So it just collapses on the floor. Anyhow, I find that incredibly fun. It's funny, but it's not. I mean, it okay, or would be truly an independent entity that happens to look just like you. Okay, I've had people recognize me. I've been in groups where I've actually put up, oh, I took it off my phone. I don't have it in my phone anymore. So I do not know how to share screen on here. Otherwise, I would show you as soon as, when you guys know that when I get everything figured out, it has not been a priority for me, mostly because I've been dealing, as just like Christine talked about, I've had illness. I had one illness after another. I was very, very ill for quite a while. And I am doing better, a lot better than that. And I've had ET help with that. Thank you to the good ones. Because that has meant a great deal to me. And so, you know, I know what I look like. I've had people recognize me when I've shown them an AI version that I've gotten the closest that has ever come, because all my pictures are packed, and they are packed in totes and in storage. So I cannot access anything, and it would be a tremendous feat to, because they're buried very far back. So it would be a tremendous feat to get pictures of me from the 1990s, of when I was 32, when I was 34, and when I was 36, of what I looked like back then. My clone bodies look exactly like my face back then. And when I've been put into my clone body, I always put almost always, I would say like 99% of the time. Okay, somebody's saying 95. To me, I have it in my head as 99, but they're telling me 95% of the time I would have my hair back, and the French braid would start right here, and I always had bangs. Yeah, I always had bangs because I hated, and they know not to keep a pair of scissors or a knife around me, because if my hair was straight back and I didn't have I hate having forehead. I've been that way since I've been a little girl, and so don't have a pair of scissors around me, because if they made a clone of me and my hair straight long down my back, I mean like 3/4 of the way down my back, or to my butt, the hair will be pulled back, and I'll have bangs here, and if I have a knife or something, that'll get cut off, and it'll be, because I used to cut my own hair back then. Wasn't any big deal. Used to layer it, and when I had it short, it was very good. I was told some very nice things from some very long-term professional hairstylists. They were like, "How the hell did you do that? How did you do that by yourself?" And I'm like, lots of mirrors, lots of arm strength. And that was long before I ever had. Hello to the folks that are in chat or watching. I've seen some other folks come and go. So hello. So, you know, so when I've had bangs, they've recognized me, and the AI is the closest I've ever come. And the AI will put me in, or has put me into, and I've used Facebook or Meta AI, and they've made it to where I look like military. I'm in military pilot uniform or a version thereof. There have been times where I've had weapons, and that's usually the one that gets recognized the most. I've had ones where I've had helicopter helmet on, visor, but that's not. It's the closest I can come to what we had on our heads as pilots. It's nothing quite like what is used now on Earth at all. The material is very different. It comes down, covers right to here, but it also comes down further at times, depending upon what you're doing. I'm sorry, I was thinking headphones. I was thinking ear devices. There are certain ear devices we would wear. And it's interesting because as soon as I came across, now this is in my life in on Earth, as soon as I came across noise canceling out headphones, that's pretty much how I live in my day-to-day life, because I will not use devices in my ear. My ears literally, there's something genetic to where I can't handle it. And so and it's a comfort to me. I don't know, and I've never understood why. I can't say I don't understand why, because part of it I get now. It's because of SSP. It's because of the having headphones on, specific kind of headphones on during flights. And it's a remembering type of thing. There are times where when I was a pilot, I have very treasured memories. And there are times as a pilot that are not so treasured when I'm pulling people out of dangerous situations. That's all I'm going to say on it. That caused emotion. Sorry. So now I know that, and also answered to Para's question, that same question, would they be truly an independent entity? They're not an independent entity. They are using they're using a form of my higher consciousness, whichever level. And there have been times where I have gone to be psychic, wide awake, fully wide awake, be psychic, be doing different energy things. And all of a sudden, I can psychically, energetically feel me in the body, but I can't see. And it's because I'm literally in the process of about to be on doing like a psychic emergency situation for somebody, like pulling. Speaking of which, I need to get back to somebody because I am starting to feel better. I'm finally starting to come back into me a bit after mom's death, after all the illnesses, after the body shit and everything. I need to get back. There's somebody there's actually two people who are waiting on me. One needs to have stuff pulled off of them. Speaking of entities, there are detrimental entities that can attach to us, and I would highly recommend those getting pulled off. And I and a couple of others know how to do that and remove them. And usually, I'm trying to be very careful how I say this. I can usually ask one of the hierarchies, not higher entities, but hierarchies, to permanently unalive the negative entity that's feeding off of a human. But there's a lot of permissions that have to be granted through the hierarchy system. And some people don't know that, and some people think that that's bullshit. That's fine. I don't give two shits. This is how I work. I know who I used to be. I know who I've got contacts with on the other side and who's willing to work with me. And so, yeah, those are things that can be done. What else? So yeah, you can feel them at times, Para, but not all the time. I mean, you can be up walking around and never know that a subsection of your higher consciousness is off with doing nefarious things. Some of it is good, some of it is nefarious. So, I mean, just be careful. I had no idea that it was at this level. I mean, it's been a hell of a mind bender. Excuse me, hell of a mind bender. I can't even, I still have a hard time fathoming this. Hell, I have a hard time fathoming the fact that I know ETs that are 2,500 years old, that they look like they're 35. It blew my mind. I mean, I had to go to our Keith Andrews because I was like, you got to help me wrap my head around this. I don't understand this. What is this? How is this? Please make sense of this to me. And he did. And I thank God for him because, I mean, there have been so many things that I'm like, okay, I understand this, this, and this, but this I need to understand how this comes into play. Good plastic surgeons, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, seriously. In the grand scheme of things, I'm glad you made that comment, Amy, because here's something that I know. If you have the right kind of ETs medically working on you, you will never, ever know that you've had work done on you until you're probably in your 80s or 90s when your skin becomes thin. The only reason I know this one is because of an experiencer who was in his 80s, whose skin was thinning, and his wife saw his back, and he looked like he had back surgery, actual back surgery. He had a full slice right down his spine. He'd never once had medical human surgery ever on his back. And yet he's got a complete scar going down his back. Come to find out, he'd been an abductee his entire life. It never showed up until he was older. He was elderly. His skin had thinned, which is what happens as we age, and it started showing up. So when I hit my 80s, the carpal tunnel surgery that they did on this hand, I am fascinated. I'm sure that scar is going to show up, just like the human one will show up. I had an excellent surgeon. So much so you literally cannot frickin' tell where the hell that surgery is done. It's just, you can't see it. And you can't see the one that they did, the ETs did on my left hand. And it'll be interesting for any any surgery marks on the inside of my throat, because I've had, as you guys know, that have been with me for a long time, know that they did open throat surgery on me. They redid my eustachian tube, my inner ear, my eustachian tube, and my throat. And shaved out part of my back of my tongue. That's a whole nother subject. Yeah, I felt that. Yeah, we can have conversations on that at a different time. That's in a whole nother video that I did, live broadcast that I did. He's out. Surprised he's not hitting the deep REM sleep yet, though. So yeah, they really are. I laughingly told them, when the weight comes off, I want them doing. I don't know if they'll ever do it, but when the weight comes off, I want them doing my reconstructive surgery. The boobs, the back, the butt, the tummy, the whole 9 yards, because they'll know how to do it and they'll do it right. And it's not that we don't have humans that don't know how to do it right. They do. But you also got to be very careful and do extensive research for your plastic surgeon. So, because there are ones out there that get kind of wonky. And I'm very thankful because I have 3 names of some excellent plastic surgeons that I've actually talked to, that they're bariatric surgeons. So, and that's one of the things that they specialize in. So, I do know humans that can do it, but the ETs, they can make it look like there was never any scars. Nothing there. So talk about plastic surgeons. They're very good at it, especially the right ones, especially the good ones, because they have a spray. They'll use a spray over it, and that spray will literally make the scar and the slices, the dices, the cuts, whatever, they will make it look like there was nothing there within 6 to 12 hours. Now, for me, with the kind of throat surgery that they did on me, it took a lot longer than that. It took close to 18 to 24 hours. And I had problems talking. And Lynn Wellington Hurley, who I don't remember the name of her podcast right now, but her name is Lynn Hurley now. She got married a long time ago, and but I knew her as Lynn Hurley or Lynn Wellington at the time, and from SOR. And I called her, and she knows exactly how I sounded at the exact time. And I had just come back, and she's the only one. She's the first one I thought of to call, because I'm like, I need somebody that can. And she had the psychology degree. She had she had all everything up the chain, so to speak. So, dealing with military family, dealing with paranormal, dealing with all kinds of ET stuff. So she was the first one I called and contacted, because I knew that I needed somebody to back me up and support me. And she did. She was right there. Thank you, Lynn. You were awesome. Still are. Anyway, so I highly recommend her. I mean, you go back in and you look at her stuff, and it's just like, wow, she interviewed a lot of really good people. And I think her channel has been a little on the quiet side recently, but I could be mistaken on that. Anyway, but I'll see if I can put a link in. If it's not in the description box, it'll be in the comment section. So I'm over 2 hours now. Still haven't gotten to the dimensions and portals. Maybe we'll have to do that for next week. And actually, that's probably a good place to. Actually, I did want to finish that other comment or question you had, Para. I don't even know if Para is still here or is popping in and out between here and SOR, Spaced Out Radio. So if you're an avid fan of Spaced Out Radio, go watch. Dave's got some interesting things and interesting guests on. Although I do have an issue, but I made my sentiment known about certain things. So anyhow, but it doesn't mean that he's got to bad show. So I will give them credit for that because it is a good show. I know people who don't like it, and I know people who love it. So, everybody's got their own stuff. It's like with me. People either like me, love me, or hate me. I don't care. I don't care if you hate me. It is what it is. I've been using that terminology for a lot of years, long time. 2005, 6, something like that. It is what it is. That's just how it is. One of my old statements. So you got to do what you can do for yourself. Big stretches. That's what I need to do. I need to stand up and go stretch it and walk a little bit after sitting this long in this chair. So just be good to yourself. Quit discounting yourself. Listen to yourself. Listen to when things pop up. That's your intuition. There's a reason you're having it. Oh, good. I do show the little owl. I saw this little owl, and I literally had a psychic vision of me wearing him. Actually, I wore him as a pin. I didn't wear him as a necklace, but I wore him as a pin. While talking on stage. And I'm like, okay, well, me talking on stage in front of however many is supposed to happen. When, I don't know, but it's supposed to happen. It's the same with a number of other pieces of jewelry that I bought from my friend. And I went, wow, okay, well, I guess I'm buying that. I guess I'm wearing that. So it'll always be with me, and it reminds me of a friend. It reminds me of some ETs that I know. I don't know if I can get this on there. Anyway. Woo! There we go. So wise old owl. Anyhow, okay, any connection between that ET breeding program and the SSP program? The only connection between hybrid breeding, hybridization program, para, and SSP is the it's part of a clone operation, but it's also part of a I'll have another rip in my skirt. That's fun. More sewing, hand sewing. Sorry, making notation to myself. The only correlation that I can make is that, yeah, they're doing it for clones, but hybrids, they don't have, as far as I know, they don't have the technology, the science to do that. They've got the sciences for the clones. So I don't know why they would not have the science for hybrids. There's a hybrid. I just got told there's a hybrid super soldier. Not a clone super soldier, not us as original super soldiers. There's actual hybrid human ET hybrid super soldiers. Holy shit, I did not know that. I was going to say, I assume there could be, but wow, to definitively get told that, I'm kind of stunned. So that's new information to me. That's more information to digest. There's 3 big pieces of information I have to digest tonight. So it might take me a while to get the description box written up. So anyhow, yeah, 380 million per clone. We got a dressing down. We got yelled and screamed at. And the 7 to 9 of us that were standing there at attention, we got hardcore screamed at. And I mean, this military officer was livid because we saved people and that we were not supposed to save. Basically, we cost them money. We didn't cost them lives. They would have rather had the lives dead. But we cost them money in fuel, in time, and it pissed them off because it had to do with their funding. So figure that one out, folks. When it comes to money, where's their funding coming from? We're talking trillions upon trillions of dollars. We're not just talking millions, or we're talking billions. We're talking trillions. Okay? Figure out where that money's coming from. Maybe it's from supposed classified programs that aren't active, that are claimed to be active. Maybe they're from, I'm not saying I know that, I'm just making an assumption. I'm saying look into things like that. Look into programs that are not deep government, that are well in the regular government that money's going to, and that are not active. So check it out. There it is. Spaced Out Radio is live. Just got that notification. Anyhow, and that's really all I've got. I'm 2 hours and 16 minutes into this. It's 9:31 p.m. Pacific time on the West Coast, the greater Seattle Puget Sound region. I hope you have a very good night. I'm tired. I'm now really tired, especially with 3 triggers. If any of this is useful to you in the sense of knowledge, please like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't already, share it with a friend that you know has ET abductions. There's a lot of things that I've talked about a lot of ET stuff and a lot of my other live broadcasts. And go play the replay, go watch or just listen. Not everything needs to be seen in my programs, my broadcasts. So just there are some things that I do show periodically, but not every one of them has stuff. So anyway, take very good care of yourself. Enjoy your time. Get your feet in the sand. Get grounded and centered. Go outside. Put your feet on the ground if you can, not on cement. Grass area or dirt or wherever, and get yourself grounded. Even if you're wearing socks and you can't do barefoot for whatever reason, I'm one of those that can't do that. Get outside. Stand outside and just stand there. Your body needs that. And what I need to do is I need to put my feet in warm water that's got Epsom salts and baking soda and a couple of other things. And yeah, I just saw your note, Christine. Thank you. And I'm also starting to lose my voice, which is weird because I don't typically, you guys have known me to do 6 hours shots and I don't typically lose my voice. So that means I am getting tired and need to revamp the energy a bit. Anyway, I hope you have a very good night. Take very good care. Get outside. If you can't handle the sun, wear protective clothing. But yeah, definitely get hydrated. Definitely wear that protective clothing, but wear socks and put your feet on the ground and get grounded. Because I know people that can't stand doing grounding. Just stand there. Your own energy will do it for yourself. your soul will do it for you. But when you actually put the energy and effort into that, it's better if you do, because then you have more of a control. Thank you. I appreciate that, Artin. So it truly, because I know a lot of people that cannot stand being outside, and they're computer geeks, and outside is not their thing. I understand that. After having a back injury and dealing with all of that crap in my life, I get it. But even I have to go outside and stand. I have to stand in socks. Can't do it barefoot because I have a very serious condition with my feet if I do that outside barefoot. So I'll stand outside, not on cement, but on actual soil, or on bark covered soil, or on grass. And then I will, and there goes the circulation, and it's actually affecting. There's an air pressure in this building, and I can really feel, I'm very, very sensitive to it right now. Anyway, so yeah, do those things for yourself, even if you just stand outside. And if you can't handle the sun, have an umbrella, put an umbrella over your head. But just hold on to not the metal, but the plastic part, or the wood part, whatever the handle is. Just get yourself outside and stand on the ground, whether it's for 1 or 2 minutes, or whether it's 20 minutes. Do it. At least do this once a week. That's a big deal. It will help move energy in your body. I'm not making jokes on that. That's a really big deal for some people. I know, I get that. But please do that. I highly recommend you do that. For others that do run the energy, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Get outside, get your hands in soil, preferably in the actual earth soil. It will make a difference. Talk to your plants. Your plants are energy. They are frequency. They will talk to you. Animals. This animal next to me chooses not to be telepathic. Why, I do not know. Some animals choose to be not telepathic. Others choose to be. So there's a whole nother subject on that one. Your animals know you. They know your feeling, your energy, your mode, how you talk, how you speak, tonal voices, the whole body language is the whole thing. And you actually emit energy. So when you're emitting energy from you, they're picking that up and they're responding to it. So if you're going through a depression or an illness, they're going to pick that up and they're going to feel it. And if they're telepathic, they're going to hear it. So just be aware of that. Anyhow, okay. Thank you. Very good show, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. Amy, there are SAPs, special access programs, whose budgets and names are not even reported to Congress. This is where the millions would come from. Yeah, millions or even potentially billions per, or combination of programs. And then you're dealing with program after program after program that's no longer valid, but it's being claimed that it is. Ooh, yeah, that would not go over well with the population of the country. That would not go over well if it's the United States. That would not go over well with Congress, with certain aspects of government. So yeah, I mean, because you got to also realize some of that money is also coming from I call them private corporations, conglomerate corporations that are not so private, but I call them private because you don't have access to what it is that they're working on in their secret programs. Well, is it part of the government? Well, they could be getting funding from all different kinds of places. Think about that too. So there's all different kinds of money coming from all different kinds of locations and places. And that can potentially be funding the global secret space program. You think about each country that's involved in the secret space program, because there are quite a few. Think of things like the UN. As many countries that are involved in the UN, think about the amount that can be in with, I'm not saying the UN's involved. I'm specifically saying, I'm using them as an example. Think about how many countries, I was going to say agencies, how many countries are involved in this global secret space program. It's not just the United States. There are many, many involved. I have seen numerous different, I'll say this again, I've said it before, I'll be saying it probably till I'm blue in the face. I have seen many different uniforms from many different nations, many different countries. Military uniforms. Okay? So I've seen a lot more United States military uniforms than I have all the others, but I've seen a number of other countries. And it's taken me a long time to figure out what uniform goes with which country, because there's some of them that I didn't know. Some of them I recognized immediately. And others I'm like, who the F is that? Who the hell does that belong to? And I'm going, oh my God. And then when I find, I'm just kind of stunned when I find out. So, and I'm not going into all of that right now, but the point is that follow the money. Figure out which countries may potentially be involved, which countries would be willing to be involved. Okay, folks? Have a good weekend. Take very good care of yourselves. Get outside, even, for a couple of minutes. Socks on, no shoes, preferably barefoot if you can at all, do it. But like I said, hydrate, take very good care of yourself, get your protein in if you can, or if you don't have alpha-gal. I know a couple people with alpha-gal, actually one specific person, but there are others that I've become aware of. But anyway, just please take very good care of yourself. My love to y'all, because like I say, I have been preaching this. This is a process. If you're an abductee, if you are in SSP, if you are dealing with paranormal, write your journal notes. This is a process. You'll get it figured out. It takes time. Cut yourself some slack and quit discounting yourself. Okay? Bye, guys. Take very good care. Have a good weekend. Forgot tomorrow's Friday. Have a good weekend. Bye, guys. Okay, where's the end stream button? Okay, here we go. Bye.